Down Nation, Jax and Janet's greetings and welcome to your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you some Steelers talk with Laskers, with Gingy, with the old-time Steelers having a little bit of problems in prime time. Please, no more games for our old team, but I'm going to try to keep it upbeat. I'm going to try to stay positive. Gingy, not a whole heck of a lot to like from last week, but 5-4, winning the division. There is a little bit of positive as far as I see it.
Mutant G in the house. 5-4, very average. Can't put a full game together. And yeah, you're right. Games after 9 o'clock for these folks, it must be past their bedtime because they're looking pretty bad.
Yeah, Lasker's flying cross country, playing late at night. Aaron Rodgers looked like he needed a nap.
Oh, he definitely needed he needed a nap, and I didn't even watch the whole game because I'm getting up there in age, and I'm not staying up for 8 o'clock games. But
it's 22-3.
Hey, we really should just be playing 1 o'clock games. I think that's better for our team, and let's stick with those. I don't think we have any more.
Sounds like they might be better for you, Laskers.
Yeah, it is.
Well, objectively, it couldn't be worse for the Steelers, should you?
Let's just be honest. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, I say. Let Laskers have the 1 o'clock games. We seem to do a lot better in those.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't even know where to start in this game. The best weapon on the team being underutilized. Aaron Rodgers having one of the worst games of his career, yet alone his Steelers' lifetime, just his career. The Chargers doing exactly what you have to do to beat the Steelers. Yeah, that defense is good at sacking the quarterback. Yeah, sometimes they force turnovers. But if the other team doesn't make mistakes and doesn't turn the ball over, the defense just doesn't get the job done. And I'm not here to blame them because they were the better unit without a doubt. But when you have that much money invested in you, you need to be the better unit every week. They didn't come up with any splash plays. And let's be honest here, Gingy. The Chargers lost their tight end in the second quarter, who'd been their leading receiver like the last 3 games. The Chargers are playing with the third string running back, and the Chargers are playing without both of their starting offensive tackles. I know the defense didn't play bad. I know the offense sucked. But the defense just needed to play better, I think. I think they're the unit that's getting off a little easy, and that's why I want to shine a light there first. They needed to play better in the circumstances that were presented to them.
Yeah, they lost the turnover battle, Donkey. Clean sheet for the Chargers, and that's going to be ultimately the difference in the game. They were getting to the quarterback. Secondary, they weren't collecting fumbles. They weren't. Chargers were just clean with the ball, right? They gave up 5 sacks. Defense was swarming, getting after it. Alex Highsmith again. What a terrible loss for this week because he's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he had another 2-sack game. It was absolutely good to see. But Laskers, how different does this game look if that first possession, Joey Porter Jr. holds on to the give me interception and sets the Steelers up in Boswell range? I mean, who knows how it goes? But man, the plays there, you have to make it. And Joey Porter Jr., I mean, he had a pick last week, which I thought was ridiculously good, maybe a step forward. But then we get back this week, and man, he just the hands, man. He has to make those plays when they're given.
Hey, he's still not a wide receiver. He's a cornerback. So, I don't disagree with you at all. He needs to make those plays, but it's a defense player. There's a reason he's a defensive player, and he's not a wide receiver. So,
I don't care what you are. If you're a second-round draft pick, you best be good at your position. And as a cornerback, especially one as handsy as he is, you have to force turnovers. You have to. It has to be part of your DNA, part of your ability. And maybe a new signing that we'll get to later, maybe this guy comes in and brings some much-needed skill to this secondary that seems to be lacking in ability to cover. I mean, Gingy, was there anyone within 10 yards of Lance McConkey the whole damn game?
Nope. Not that I saw. It's ugly. Made him look like an all-pro.
Well, we're talking maybe
Trash,
shut
though,
down
from the
Vidal.
Packers.
Vidal averaged almost 4 yards a carry, had a touchdown, had almost 100 yards rushing, and this is a dude who struggled all year. The Chargers have struggled all year. I know we want to say, well, you look at league average, that wasn't a bad performance. Yeah, but if you look at what the Chargers have done, that's probably the best running performance the Chargers have had all year since the injury of Omari and Hampton in week 3. Gingy, this team needs to establish an identity. We're back to what we talked about the last 4 years. There's no identity on offense and there's no identity on defense. This team needs to find an identity.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to build it around Jaylen Warren. He's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah.
When you get the rock.
Yeah. Well, Mike Tomlin's excuse, Laskers, is if we convert more third downs, you'll see more Jaylen Warren. Dude, I just want to see Jaylen Warren on the field. If we're not converting third downs, we shouldn't be putting Caleb Johnson in when we're backed up in our own 20-yard line. It should be Jaylen Warren, the playmaker out there, the guy who's hurdling people, the only guy moving this offense forward. It shouldn't be dependent on the Steelers converting third downs to see Jaylen Warren. Explain to me where Jaylen Warren isn't the best running back on this team last year. To me, it seems like he's the best runner. It seems like he's the best at pass protection. And it seems like he's the best receiving the football. So why the hell do we need to convert third downs to see more of him?
I got nothing for it because I agree. He is definitely the best at converting third downs. And he has been for the last 3-4 years. I don't remember how long he's been on the team, but he has been the best at converting third downs. He was our third down back.
Yep, all the way up till this season. But now apparently Caleb, who hasn't done anything all year other than refused to pick up a kickoff Johnson, and Kenneth Gainwell, who I'll say this, Gainwell's played better than I expected, but that's no excuse to keep your best player off the field, Gingy. What is going on here? Is Mike Tomlin too smart for us on defense with the players he keeps acquiring and using? And is Arthur Smith too smart for us that we just can't see his 8 deep chess he's playing while everyone else is playing solitaire, I guess? I mean, because we're definitely not playing anywhere near the same type of game.
Seems to be a personnel versus scheme issue. Now, let's be honest, this is the first game where we really saw Aaron Rodgers lay an egg and not carry it for us. What was I talking about last week, Donkey? I was talking about a clean sheet, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't get the splash plays on defense that we needed. We got some, but they weren't impactful enough to determine the outcome of the game. And we did not get the clean sheet that we needed on offense. We basically played into the game plan that the Steelers like letting teams play into in terms of beating ourselves. Yeah,
without a doubt. Aaron Rodgers played his worst game as a Steeler. Like I said, one of the worst of his career. There's a couple plays that come to mind. I personally don't remember the first interception, but I know the second one was all Calvin Austin III because, we don't need a number 2 wide receiver. We didn't trade for anybody. We signed Marquez. I dropped the ball more than I catch Valdez-Scantling to be on this team. I mean, his old age will match up very well with Darius. I give up big play Slay. I just don't know where the answer is because teams realize, you know what? This offense isn't going to burn you. This offense isn't going to get past you. I mean, the one time DK got deep, Aaron Rodgers misses the throw by 10 yards. Another drive that ends poorly for us. Jonnu Smith is wide open. Aaron throws it so high above him that it would have been an amazing catch to make. Jonnu can't come down with the amazing catch. The drive ends. And I believe that's the time Boswell misses a field goal. And I'm going to tell you right now, Laskers, the minute I knew the game was over was when Boswell missed the field goal. I mean, he hit a 59-yarder before, but that's a 45-yarder, perfect snap, perfect hold. I know we love Boswell, and I know Boswell's been in this offense, but, dude, he has to make that kick.
Yeah, but you also got to think sometimes that you get the heebie-jeebies or whatever you want to call it, and you're going to miss them.
I can't live in bust with the way kickers are nowadays. And that type of a close game, man, it's a backbreaker to me because everyone knows Boswell's automatic. And as soon as he misses one there, all of a sudden now I know you're not going to. But you have to be like, man, that cost us a possession. That could be huge in the late bits of this game. I'm not here to blame Boswell, but let's be honest here. The Steelers lost this game defensively. They created less splash than the Chargers. Offensively, they created no splash. Special teams only created negative splash, a missed field goal, and late in the game when the game was pretty much out of hand. But let's be honest here. Kerryon Williams just lost a punt. Like, what? That can't happen.
All true.
I don't know where to go.
Not going to see me pile on Boswell this week. I understand. But he's been so automatic in clutch moments. Still made a 59-yarder in that game. Yes, definitely a negative. One can happen. Two is unfortunate. Three is a pattern.
Yeah.
For me. Boswell's off the hook for this week. Not good. Like I said, I'm usually Boswell good. Boswell okay. Boswell okay, and if we have it again, then we have a different discussion. But for now, I'll let him off the hook.
It is. What's that? 3 misses on the season. I know there was the block, the chunk field, and this one. It's starting to become alarming because this is Boswell, who has in previous years been really good. But he's only, 3 years removed from that season where he only made 70% of his kicks. So he is a guy who has been shown to have a strugglesome season. And the way this team is built, and let's be honest, this team went all in on this year. You can't have this season be a failure. If you're the Steelers and this season is a failure, where does that put you in the future? Because
fire Tomlin.
You mortgaged everything to get here. Yeah, if we do that after this season, and I've been supporting it for 5 years, it just proves it was 5 years too late. What I'm saying is this season needs to be successful, or the Steelers just prove we wasted half a decade on something that didn't work and we were too slow to react. And let's be honest here, firing Tomlin doesn't fix the whole problem.
No,
we can say that does. We can say it is. There's something, and Benji, I don't know how to put my finger on it, but there's something in this culture now where this team just doesn't have what it takes to get to that elite level. I don't know if it's a leadership thing, if it's a player personnel thing, if it's a development thing, if it's a coaching thing. But it's been a long time since we've seen the Steelers be elite in this league at something. This is a defense that doesn't force 3 and outs. This is an offense that can't convert third downs. There's just something that feels off in the DNA, and it's really coming to fruition here in the middle of the season when we're playing good teams that are no longer in preseason form. And Gingy, how do the Steelers get out of this groove? Is there a way to find themselves the ability to be elite in something? And can that something save this season from becoming the Baltimore Ravens starting terrible and winning the division?
I'm not going to lie to you, Donkey. I don't know that I'm in complete disagreement with you about the leadership issue. Especially on the offensive side of the ball, there's been a massive void there since Big Ben left. Haven't really filled it anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weird. And even on the defensive side, yes, Cam Hayward, I think a pretty strong leader, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough in a locker room, right?
I hear you on that.
As a team, and I like it the best.
You need TJ to be a leader.
I like it best when the best player is also the leader, right? That feels like it flows the best, right? But I don't know if TJ Watt is that guy. He's not that guy in the media.
He's not a leader.
This is my question. Because it's just a question I'm putting out there. The Steelers talk about this, we keep it in-house, we do that, we don't handle things that way. But you look at these teams that show emotion, that have players that are out there getting in people's faces, right? You see the Kansas City Chiefs, you've seen, what the heck's the defensive tackle's name I can't think of. You've seen him get in people's faces. You've seen Travis Kelce have fights on the field with Andy Reid. You go to Philadelphia, A.J. Green is calling people out all over the place. Saquon Barkley's in people's faces. The defensive side of the ball, they're all up there in people's faces. Is the Steelers' problem that the Steelers are too lax. And is that Cam Hayward? And I think this is Cam Hayward style. I think that's TJ Watt style. Aaron Rodgers hasn't done an Aaron Rodgers blow up on anyone except when Broderick Jones tackled him. It's like the Steelers style doesn't, I don't want to say doesn't work, but this, oh, let's keep it behind closed doors stuff doesn't put the pressure where the pressure needs to be. And these guys, and we say it now, it's been a decade since this style has been effective with anybody. Like, this style has not worked. Is there a way to change out of this? Is there a player? Can Jalen Ramsey come out and be a vocal point like he's been in a lot of places he has gone and been successful? Can we see someone like DK Metcalf maybe go out and, start yelling and screaming? Because I'm going to be honest. Now, DK's done some boneheaded things, but I watched him in Seattle. This is the most relaxed I've ever seen DK Metcalf. What the hell is going on here where it just seems like these players, the word I want to use is care. It feels like these players don't care, Lasker.
They definitely don't care. And also, you meant A.J. Brown, not A.J. Green. But, the
Yes,
players don't care. They really don't care. It's clearly evident that they don't care. It's a paycheck for them. They don't care if they win the Super Bowl. It's like, whatever.
Gingy,
I mean,
I do.
there are certain defensive players that do care, but
I don't think Laskers is wrong, and the reason I say this is even guys on losing teams will make themselves known that they're pissed off with this shit. I mean, look at what Myles Garrett did when he had that 5-sack game. The Browns got stomped. He's there sitting by himself because he's just fed up with his team. He's letting it know that he's fed up with his team. Where the hell is the Steelers player who's calling out anyone, who's saying this? They always say, hey, we got problems and we're going to fix it. Where's the fire? Where's the tenacity? Where's that guy who's going to, hold the standard, Gingy? Who is that guy on this team that holds the standard?
Holding people accountable, Donkey. That's right it. And I don't see it.
Me neither. I think this Chargers game is a great example of it. I mean, good job by Herbert not turning the ball over. Don't forget, Dicker also missed a kick. So, two good kickers missed a kick in this game. Chargers defense, they went out and did their thing. They stopped everybody. Play of the game for me was Jalen Warren hurdling someone. That was kind of fun. But I don't know. Was there a play to you guys that really changed this game? Or was it just kind of a from the get-go, Steelers just looked like as long as the Chargers show up, they'll win?
I'm gonna be honest. When the half that I watched, it looked like if they just showed up, they'd win.
Gingy?
I don't know. Overall, the bad second quarter, not having a good hold on things at halftime, it forces a sense of urgency that I don't think that the Steelers are built to play with. And overall, it was ultimately, one thing I didn't mention too, when we're talking about bad offense, the 2 of 11 on third down. Donkey, that's not just bad, that's abysmal. I cannot, and that's not going to win you any football games.
Aaron Rodgers didn't play very good. There was a couple times he looked absolutely checked out. But, dude, did you see how bad our offensive line is? Like, look at the pressure rate from that game. That was atrocious, man. Bud Dupree has, 4 pressures on the whole season. I'm pretty sure they all came against the Steelers. Like, this is what I said. It all has to be, look at player personnel, man. I mean, Fontanu hasn't looked very good. Broderick Jones looks like an absolute bust. Mason McCoy looks like a middle round draft pick, a fringe guy. Frazier absolutely not looking the part of an NFL offensive lineman. When we had to put in Andres Pete so we could run the big package with Anderson, Andres Pete false starts to start the damn game, dude. That just shows you these guys aren't prepped. These guys aren't ready. It's not next man up mentality here. The Steelers' mentality is if the starter goes down, we're effed. We're screwed. The boat sunk. Like, what the hell, dude? There are plenty of teams that have lost better players than we have. We lose one offensive lineman, and the whole damn boat sinks, Laskers.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad. There's no next man up anymore at all, and that's a problem.
Look at our secondary, dude. Next man up means we got no one there. Our player personnel development was so good that we kept Juan Thornhill on the season to be the starter, Gingy, and we just cut him to bring back Sebastian Castro, who was an undrafted free agent we had in camp. We cut him originally because he wasn't even a top 4 safety. Now he's better than our starter safety at the start of the year. The hell? Do these guys not know how to evaluate talent?
Didn't look like it from that exhibition, Donkey. Cut your starter in the middle of the season. That's bad form.
Me and you had a nice discussion about how he is a backup level NFL player, maybe a fringe starter, but we need to be better, and we didn't get better. So that one just kind of makes me laugh. Thinking Calvin Austin the third can be a number 2 wide receiver. I don't even know where to go with this team right now. They need to turn it around against the team that they had their first embarrassment with in prime time with the Bengals. We need to turn around this week. There's a couple stories in the NFL, I don't know if you guys were watching, that I found to be kind of interesting and might show to you that the NFL just might prefer certain football teams over others. And my case in point, Laskers, Amon-Ra St. Brown punches Daron Payne right in front of a referee, doesn't get flagged, doesn't get anything. Daron Payne, 2 plays later, punches Amon-Ra St. Brown in the neck after Amon-Ra talks some shit after the touchdown after he had punched him prior. Daron Payne gets ejected from the football game, suspended. The NFL then hears his appeal, upholds his suspension, and doesn't do a single thing to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we have video evidence of being the first person to throw a punch. I mean, I know Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the faces of the franchise, or of the NFL. I know the Detroit Lions are a team you're trying to push forward, and the Commanders without their quarterback aren't so good to see. But dude, tell me this makes any sense whatsoever and that the NFL cares about anything other than pushing certain franchises it wants to keep them in primetime games. Because it wouldn't look very good if Amon-Ra St. Brown got suspended right before the Detroit Lions play the Philadelphia Eagles.
Or right before Thanksgiving. But anyhow, that wasn't going to be my main point. Is you throw the second punch, you're fucked. I mean, and sorry for swearing, but that's the honest truth in the NFL. You throw the second punch, you are screwed.
I agree. He's the one who's going to get ejected from the game. I have no issue with that. He's the one who got caught by the refs. My issue is, Laskers, the NFL suspends Daron Payne for his actions during the game. On his appeal, they see video of Amon-Ra punching first. How the hell on appeal do you give him a 1-game suspension and no punishment to Amon-Ra St. Brown? That's my question. Not the during the game stuff.
They don't care. I mean, they don't care because Amon-Ra's the face of the NFL right now. They don't care. The NFL is so rigged.
It does feel like there's some officiating things that are a little sketchy from time to time. But Gingy,
I got a different take on this. I got a different take on this one, Donkey. I think there's a different bias at play here. You were talking about bias towards teams and different things like that, right?
More so players and player images who certain players get away with stuff that other people get suspended for. That's a nice way to put it.
Sometimes, Donkey, in this league, I have seen in these type of instances, there's somewhat of a bias towards, quote unquote, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, towards the littler guy. When it's defensive player, like a defensive lineman versus a big. You see the picture, Donkey? One guy.
You're trying to say Darius Slay should have got flagged instead of Darnell Washington.
Sometimes I've seen the NFL lean in that direction, Donkey, of more of a. I mean, we take a look at it when we're talking about officiating quarterbacks, right? Big Ben and Cam Newton, guys like that don't always get those calls. And in those aggressive type of situations, maybe there was a little bit of bias towards the big fella.
I fully hear you, but I still can't get my head around on his appeal. The NFL sees video of Amon St. Brown punching him, and maybe they're like, "Hey, you're a repeat offender. That's why you got suspended." Because they've said that before. But Amon St. Brown, up to this point, hasn't even got fined by the NFL for the incident. But to me, I don't know how the NFL can spin this right now because they've known for a week what has happened, and they didn't do a single thing about it. I could get it. And you know what? Even if we could argue whether the punishment's fit, but the fact of the matter is the no punishment to Amon St. Brown is what is absolutely detrimental to my view that NFL football is a sport that is being controlled by New York on a weekly basis because the referees magically now have New York in their heads all the time, and we see them get together and change their calls all the time. You're to have me believe that New York's not being involved more in these games than you think. The Amon St. Brown thing is what really makes me question that. If the NFL wants to be transparent and look like a legitimate league that isn't fixing games like the NBA got in trouble for, there has to be clairvoyance and there has to be equity, Gingy, and we're seeing neither here.
Yeah, Donkey, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that particular call right there, but overall, I have not seen it. That's a tough discussion, middle of the season, Donkey. Maybe we save that one for the off season.
I just thought that was really fun. I thought that was really unique situation that doesn't happen every week. We got the New England Patriots looking better than they have since Tom Brady retired. Who says you can't move on from a legend and find something good? Laskers, are you a believer in this Patriots team?
They look good. I'm going to be honest. They look good. Drake May is looking phenomenal. They're scary.
Well, it also helps that he played the Jets and both balls they threw right to the Jets. You want to talk about people who can't catch a football? No interceptions this year for the New York Jets. My goodness gracious. Gingy, thoughts on this Patriots team that's now leading the AFC and followed by, Gingy, this is where you get to get into, the Denver freaking Broncos following them? Who had that as 1-2 11 weeks into the season?
Yikes. Parity in the AFC. Watch out, right? Young, exciting, good, solid fundamentals. What else would you expect from a Vrabel football team, right?
Well, if you watch the last few years at Tennessee, yeah, that wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And it was
fresh starts
terrible.
Looking good for everybody.
Yes, it is. It helps when you have a quarterback who's getting the job done. And more importantly, that's a team that has played really well in the offensive and defensive line with a bunch of guys who weren't, those marquee household names on either side there. So that's a big kudos to them getting that going and getting that playing the way it has. Helps when you have a shutdown corner. A legit shutdown corner like it's Gonzalez, I believe is his name up there. That kid can shut down a number one with no care whatsoever. I really want to know, how'd you guys feel about the NFL week last week getting capped by two of the most boring 10-7 football games you've ever seen? Way to start and end the week with some boring football. I was like, man, this is why every play should, I guess, benefit offense because no points is boring. I can't believe I used to love defensive football.
I went to bed before half on both of those games.
Fair. Gingy, you stay up to watch either of those sleep games?
Didn't get to see that, no, Donkey.
All right. Anything you guys want to talk about this week before we move into the Bengals?
We talking about any acquisitions? Or we
wrap
that into the Bengals conversation?
I was just out there, but yeah, we could talk about the acquisitions without a doubt. Go ahead, Gingy, bring us in.
Picking up more help for the secondary. Asante Samuel Jr., 26-year-old cornerback coming from Chargers, right?
Yep. Great player when he's been healthy. Problem is he hasn't been healthy. Gotta see if he's recovered from the injuries. I believe there was a knee injury, and then he recovered from that, but then didn't sign with anyone because he had to have a spinal fusion most recently. Lasker's pretty good playmaker here. Interception type of guy. Plays on the outside, really doesn't play in the slot. But I will tell you right now, much like Joey Porter Jr. as a rookie, he's allergic to tackling. Full disclosure. I like the pickup though.
I mean, I don't know much about him, so I'll be honest on that. And if he can figure out how to tackle, that's a big thing. And
if he can
kind of don't,
that's good.
Don't pull the Joey Porter and get a lot of flags. But that's the biggest thing.
Not a huge penalty guy. Gingy, a guy who can't tackle, but a guy who could bring some splash, so maybe something good for the Steelers. And most importantly, Gingy, he who shall not be named earned his name back with that spear tackle last week. St. Pierre, the only Steeler who put the hammer down. But how do you feel about Samuel joining the team?
Let's see if we can't tighten it up in the secondary a little bit, lock down these quarterbacks for a little bit. Rather than defense having to make a play all the time, let's get some coverage sacks. That's always how the defense has been. That's what we've been talking about all season, right? Got to get to the quarterback. No secondary can't cover. But hopefully that, that's this edition remedies that a little bit.
That would be nice to see. Other moves that were made, Will Howard got activated. Trey Sermon gets cut and then brought back to the practice squad because he was up on the major roster for 2 whole games. So Will Howard, third-string quarterback, now active. We bring back Sebastian Castro as he just got cut by the Buccaneers. He takes the spot of Juan Thornhill, who went from starter to completely off the team in about 3 weeks. Can't say it wasn't deserved, but really makes you question why we didn't keep Castro in the first place. Gingy, either of those moves matter to you at all, or are these just last chairs on the Titanic getting swapped?
Thornhill move is weird, but I trust the process, donkey.
You knew something was up when in the Colts game they announced the starters and only one safety was announced, but Thornhill started for 3 plays and then disappeared forever. I don't think we've seen him since that. Laskers, have we seen him since that?
I don't know.
All right. Laskers, Gingy, any last things before we talk Bengals?
Nope, let's rock and roll.
All right, let's get to it then. Since he's coming to Pittsburgh, this is 71-41 all times the Steelers' record against the Bengals. At home, the Steelers are 35-20. Of course, the biggest win was Cincinnati by 35 points. That's 42-7 in 1988. Then Pittsburgh won by 28 twice, 38-10, 35-7, both by Ben Roethlisberger in 2008 and 2011. The current streak is the Bengals won 2 in a row. Of course, we met them on October 16th. Thursday Night Football lost 33-31. Things have to be different this time. Things have to go better this time. Maybe Joe Flacco's not playing. Who knows? Maybe Joe Burrow magically gets activated and starts the game because he is technically allowed to do that because they opened his window. They have to do some roster moves and do all that.
They've already rolled him out.
Oh, okay. So cool. No Joe Burrow. Maybe we get Flacco. Maybe we get Jake Browning. Does it really matter? Can we cover T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Can the offense score 30 points again? Will they wake up? It's a 1:00 game. Things should be positive. All of this is the way you have to look at this. And Gingy, maybe the most determining factor of this is neither the Steelers nor the Bengals seem to be allowed to win both games in the season recently. So that means it's our turn, Gingy.
Steelers' turn. Let's go. Really embarrassed on defense last time. Let's see if we can't change that around this time, hopefully.
Flacco with 10 days on the frickin' Bengals roster. Being an absolute statue. Doesn't get sacked, really. Doesn't throw interceptions. Just beats the Steelers' booty. Oh my God. Laskers, why? Why is that a thing that's still imprinted in my brain?
Somehow Joe Flacco can beat the Steelers. That's my answer. I got nothing else for you. He's the kryptonite to the Steelers. I guess that's what I'm going with.
I have an honest question. If the Bengals beat the Steelers here this week, do the Bengals become the favorite to win the AFC North? Because right now Baltimore's the favorite to win the AFC North. If the Bengals beat the Steelers again, do they gonna take that and be the favorite?
No, that defense is historically bad.
Yeah, but I mean, look at their offense. Chase Brown, Higgins, Chase, an offensive line that has a bunch of people you'll never know the names of because we already covered this game. And yeah, it's roster. I'll say that. Defensively, they have Trey Hendrickson, who I think is going to miss the game again last year's. Is that right? He going to miss this one as well?
Yep.
They traded Logan Wilson. I mean, and I said this before. I said this when I played on Thursday night, but at least then it was fake football. So I said, watch out for fake football and home teams on fake football. But, Gingy, what has changed in a month that I should feel more confident about this version of the Steelers off their last 3 or 4 performances against this version of the Bengals that seems better than it was before?
The Colts game, proof of concept,
I mean,
right?
If you turn the ball over,
hear me out, Donkey.
the New England game too, right?
That's proof of concept. That's how it's supposed to look. Why it doesn't look like that every week? You have to ask old Mike Tomlin why it don't look like that every week.
Because you can't get 5 turnovers every week, Gingy. That shit's just not sustainable.
Then fuck, go to 2. I'd be good with that.
If we got to 2, we'd probably be a lot better off than we are. All right, so there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about on this team. I mean, Jordan Battle does have 3 interceptions. DJ Turner did show the ability to really play well against DK Metcalf at times during that game. So maybe we're underestimating the Bengals, worst defense in football. Maybe we're not giving them enough credit, Gingy. Do you think that? Do you think we aren't? Do you think we should pay a little more respect to the worst defense in football?
Definitely pay respect after last week, right? Your offense opposed to that defense, they're both approaching the same territory on opposite sides of the ball.
Arthur Smith was clearly laying an egg so the Bengals wouldn't know what was about to hit him last year. Say it's true. Say it's so.
No, I can't. I honestly can't. We look like dog shit, and I think that's just how we are.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I mean, we talked about the big players on the Bengals. We broke them down just 3 weeks ago. I don't think we need to really break this down too much. This is another game where the Bengals have no defensive line, so the Steelers having no offensive line should be a moot point. Steelers should be able to move the ball, should be able to find success on offense. Defensively, the Bengals without Hendrickson have no. Or excuse me, we were talking defensively. The Bengals without Burrow and maybe without Flacco would have to turn to Jake Browning, who's the guy who turns the ball over. The Steelers tend to thrive when they can force turnovers. Even Flacco turns the ball over. He's a statue in there. Their offensive line's not very good. They should be able to get pressure, even without Alex Highsmith. That means you should see more of Herbig. Herbig's been absolutely great at the pressure rate. Now, where that might hurt is the running game, and maybe Chase Brown goes off and has himself a game. But really, this is a matchup that should favor the Steelers because I understand Chase is great. I understand the receiving core there with Higgins is amazing. But the pressure should be able to nullify that. It didn't happen on Thursday. I'd like to think with a full week of prep time and us not being past our bedtimes, that things will be different, especially playing at home. Gingy, does this sound like what you're feeling, or are you a little more nervous about this than I am?
I think the Steelers are going to be ready for this one this week. If you aren't elevated for this, AFC North football, cruising towards Thanksgiving time, I don't know what'll get you there then, Donkey.
I mean, either Laskers. You seemed a little more negative on this vibe. What is it? The Steelers, the way they just came off terrible, a terrible month, that has you concerned, or is it the threat the Bengals pose somewhere that's giving you, a little bit of holdback on fully buying into a win.
I mean, it all depends on who their quarterback is. If it's Flacco, I'm more concerned. Since we know it's not going to be Burrow, I'm more concerned if it's Flacco. If it's Jake Browning, I'm not as concerned. Which that's where it looks like it is leaning towards, so I'm not as concerned. But our defense they're so spotty.
Yep, that's fair.
Very spotty.
That's what happens when you're not built to stop the run or the pass. Things don't look good at times. Yep, that's fair to say. You guys ready to get into some cash or trash here?
Yep. Lay it on me.
All right, Ginger, we're going to start on defense because I want the offense to have the show this week. Defensively, the Pittsburgh Steelers make sure Ja'Marr Chase does not get that 1,000-yard season against us. That means we hold Ja'Marr Chase under I-69, 169 yards, Gingy. We hold him under. Cash or trash?
Cash it in. Under 169.
Laskers, I like milestones. I like the way I started this. Chase Brown needs 80 yards to get to 500 on the season. The Steelers will hold him to 79 yards or less rushing the football this week. Cash or trash?
Cash that.
Oh. Jeez, my mojo just got killed, Gingy. I don't know what to do here. All right, let's go turnovers. Gingy, splash plays, they need to happen. The Steelers force 3 of them or more. Cash or trash?
Cash that in. It's a necessity, donkey.
All right, Laskers, if we shut down number 1 receivers, number 2 guys tend to step up. This number 2 staff is led by a great player in T. Higgins, but let's say all of them. The Steelers will hold every receiver outside of Ja'Marr Chase under 70 yards receiving. Cash or trash?
Total? Like, every receiver?
No one will break 70 individually.
Okay. I'll cash that one in.
I'd like to see that happen.
Chase. Ooh, got to hold Higgins down.
The pass rush didn't get home last time we played them. Pass rush got home the last 2 games the Steelers have played. They continue that streak with at least 5 sacks. Cash or trash?
Ooh. Donkey, this is a tough one for me to say, but without Highsmith this week, I'm going to have to trash that.
Killing a mojo. All right, let's go to the offense. Let's go to Laskers. Laskers, Aaron Rodgers over 300 yards passing. Cash or trash?
I'm going to trash it because I think in the second half we're going to see another quarterback.
Oh, God, I hope he doesn't die. Or maybe you're saying we do really good.
I'm just saying he's doing bad.
Oh, gosh. Laskers is really killing my vibe, Gingy. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's get positive. Jaylen Warren over 120 scrimmage yards and anytime touchdown. Cash or trash?
Scrimmage. Cash that in. Let me see it. He's going to be the guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Laskers, DK Metcalf has not shown up in a while, so he's due a 100-yard game, right? Cash or trash?
Oh, this one I might regret, but I'm going to cash that in.
Yes, that's right, you are. All right, let's go. Gingy,
you shouldn't agree with me on that one.
Why? That's over 100 yards.
I know, but I don't think he's going to do it, but I'm going to cash it in.
Well, then you're saying he does do it. Laskers, are you confused on how this game works? Gingy,
I am.
Let's go.
I'm not confused, but it's going to be close.
Offensive line shows up this week. Aaron Rodgers only gets sacked 1 time or less, and the running backs average over 4.5 yards a carry. Cash or trash?
Cash that in. Offensive line is all in for it this week.
And Laskers, I know he's your favorite, so that's why I saved this for the end. Boswell's right. Boswell's good. Doesn't miss a kick. Cash or trash?
I'm going to cash that one in.
All right. That's what I like to hear. There's our cash and trash for the week. Now some closing thoughts before we get to predictions. We'll let Laskers do his closing thoughts on what he expects to see, and then head it to Gingy, and then we'll make some predictions for this week. Laskers, take it away.
I expect us to kind of show up, but not fully show up. That's really what I'm expecting.
All right, Gingy.
Defense does enough to get by. It's going to be hard without Highsmith, but offense picks up the game, redeems themselves. Looking good for them this week.
That's what I like to hear. This is the AFC North prediction week. It's pretty simple. We got 2 games. We got Baltimore going to Cleveland. Obviously, I like Baltimore. Laskers, who'd you like in that one?
I like Baltimore. I mean, there's no doubt about that one.
Gingy.
Baltimore's the answer.
All right, part 2. We got the Bengals coming to the Steelers. Gingy, who'd you like in this one?
Give me the home team, Pittsburgh Steelers. 33-27. Gonna be some points put up. X Factor,
33,
Jalen.
Magic number.
That is the magic. I seen it once. We'll see it again. And Jalen Warren is your X Factor.
I just like how all these games have to be won by 33 points when the Steelers play the Bengals. Laskers, what you got?
Since I think Flacco's out, I'm going to go Steelers 28, Bengals 24, X Factor. Ooh, boy, I got to think about this one. Give me a DK. 1 touchdown.
Okay.
I like that. I also like the Steelers here. I like them 28-17. I don't care who's playing for the Bengals. And I like my X Factor to be the guy who's been the most Jekyll and Hyde I've seen, because I think he had his 2 best games as a Steeler this season, and I think he also had 4 games where he was complete garbage. But I expect a big game out of Patrick Queen. I'm looking for a sack. I'm looking for a forced turnover. I'm looking for leading the team in tackles with double-digit solo tackles. I really feel like it's a defensive player who needs to set this tone, and I feel like every time I crap on him enough, Patrick Queen goes out and does something good. So this is the game. I feel you're going to see it. I think Patrick Queen makes the difference for it. Now it's time to get to shout-outs. Gingy, you said you have one now every week because it's a short season, so who'd you got for last week?
Did you ask me a question? I was going to say, because I lost my controller.
I don't have anything for last week, Donkey. I don't know what you're talking about.
Laskers, do you have a shout-out?
I definitely don't have anything for last week either.
It's disgusting.
It certainly was. It was not the prettiest thing. But I'm going to give a shout out to a dude that I've definitely hated on. Y'all know because I took his name away. But man, James Pierre laying down the spear, being like, yo, WWE, look at me as a cruiserweight. I'm just saying, man, I had 2 Steeler plays that put a smile on my face. Jalen Warren hurdling that dude on the run, and James Pierre just laying the lumber. I have to give him a shout out because he's been hated on enough in this show that, when you put a smile on my face in a game like that, especially because I was late in the game, I'm going to let the people know I appreciated it. And of course, I am the Viking Donkey. That's my _Donkey at Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose Donkey with Ginger. This is where you get this awesome content. We're going to try to have Bug Boo lead out the bug cap for next week. Hopefully. He's a little quiet again this week. But that's really all I got. Leave us a like, comment, follow. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what's working, what isn't working. And Laskers, let them know.
Laskers everywhere. And still, if you can't follow me, find me. Good luck. Gingy to you.
Mutant Gingy in the house. I know where to find you, Laskers. Don't worry. It's AFC North football. People, hey, get your towels ready. Get your drinks ready. Here we go, Steelers. Wave them if you got them.